Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to BBallBreakdown. I am excited to have another episode of In the Film Room. And this time we are joined by rookie guard for the Hawks, DeAndre Bembry, who also played for 3 years at St. Joe's. And DeAndre, I can't thank you enough for hopping in the show with us today.
No, I'm blessed to be having this opportunity. I'm looking forward to talking basketball with you guys.
All right. Well, has the transition to the pros been smooth for you, or have you been a deer in headlights with every move that you've done so far?
As far as basketball, it's been smooth. Other than dealing with my brother, but other than that, everything has been very smoothly. Everything that I thought it would be. So it's going pretty well so far.
Well, that's good to hear, at least from the basketball side of things. And as far as connections with Coach Budenholzer, have you been already having frank discussions with him about where you're going to fit and what kind of role you might have this year?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that before they even drafted me. Going out there and doing the team workouts and stuff like that. It was just me and him talking to each other after the workout. He's telling me what he likes about my game, what he thinks I can get better at, things like that. So, yeah, we definitely talked about how I could fit on the team before I even got drafted. So, definitely feel like he's ready for what I have.
Okay, I know a lot of fantasy guys are probably dying to know how many minutes you're going to get this year. So, do you have any sense of that?
No, I can't even say that. I only had practice with the summer league team so far, so haven't really got used to everybody. I mean, it's a complete new team. Just even if I wasn't here, Dwight just got there. Just lost a starting point guard, so it's a whole new team this year. So I'm just looking forward to getting in the gym and getting used to them.
Well, we are too. Well, I thought what we could do here is jump into some clips that we took from Summer League, of some good highlights of yours and what made you do the certain moves.
Yeah.
So the first one I grabbed here was you're playing against Washington in the first quarter. I was watching you sort of read the defense pretty well, and what we do have in the very beginning is a nice backdoor cut from you. The pass wasn't perfect, obviously. So that backdoor cut, is that something that you learned? Is it like a natural thing that you learned as a read and react, or is that kind of built into the offense, specifically with the Hawks in Atlanta? How did that come about?
I guess just reading and reacting. When I guess my defender wasn't looking at me. You don't just stand still. You just make a play, and I seen that his eyes weren't on me and try to get a backdoor cut. I did that going back to high school, middle school, a lot at St. Joe's. I got a lot of backdoor cuts because players were denying me. So I guess just my high IQ in basketball, just reading and reacting.
Let's talk about footwork for a second, because we talk a lot about this in our show. And what I like about how you ended up doing this was, it's almost like a hop. You lift both feet in the air and you land on a hard, left foot up higher than your man. There's actually a little bit of a right-hand connection to your defender. I don't know if I'll call it a swim move, but is that part of is that a thing you've learned, or is that just sort of instinct, how you kind of give him a little push?
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat of an instinct. Like you said, the swim move, that's just a certain technique that you can learn over the days, simple things like that, learning through high school. So definitely learned that when I was a little younger, so it wasn't the first time I did it.
All right, good. Now, the ball ends up swinging and finding you on the weak side. I'm assuming the offense you're running is somewhat related to, it looks a little bit like, I see some Spurs motion weak and strong in there. Was that easy for you to pick up quickly?
Yeah, it was not too difficult. Like you said, it's just a read and reacting type of team, and that's what the Spurs organization is, and that's what somehow the Hawks are now doing. So, like you said, weak and all of that. That's pretty much what we're doing, just read and react. And they told us it's not one thing you should do. It's just read and reacting and making the right play. And I played with a lot of guys that had a high IQ as well, and that's why we did pretty good together.
Well, let's look at this finishing move, because it's very nice, and you get a blow by down the baseline, and then you kind of have a skip to your left, and then a fadeaway over the big man. Is that a move that you practice a lot?
I mean, I've shot fadeaways a lot of times, but I think at the time I had to, because the big dude was about 6'10", so I was just trying to get a clear enough shot off, and I was saying luckily, but I made the shot.
Hey, yeah, there's nothing lucky about that. It looks like you meant to do that. When you're working on individual workouts, are you doing a lot of sort of step back, fade away in the lane kind of finishing moves?
Yeah. I've did a few fadeaways, step backs, and things like that. I've definitely just tried to get a lot more shots up and show teams that I can shoot better than my numbers were the last couple years. But definitely trying to get a little bit more jump shots up there just so they can see the confidence that I have with my jump shot.
Great. Well, that fadeaway was a Dirk leg off of 1 foot, which we always like to see, and that definitely is some real high skill level right there and a nice touch. So the next clip we have is against Sacramento. And one thing I wanted to bring up here is a lot of what we see with the Spurs and also the Hawks is the notion of attacking on the catch. And I'm kind of curious, did they already start working with you on that notion of we don't want you to hang on the ball and jab, step. We want you to go as soon as you can?
Yeah, that was one of the things, like one-on-one workouts and stuff like that. We were working on moving without the ball, and that was moving while catching the ball. And that was one of the things that I've already did, but that was one of the things that they pointed out as well. Cutting, slashing until like as soon as you touch the ball, you should be already moving. And I think that's the clip that you're talking about.
Yeah, right. Well, you like do a fill on the it kicks out to in the weak side on the wing on the right side, and then you blow by the closeout. Now, what I like about this is that especially as you build up to higher levels, I know as we got our players at the high school level as they got better, I basically told them pretty much forget about ever getting a layup jumping inside the lane. Right, your shots are now going to be taken that right left. That left foot's probably going to be at the block or farther out.
Yeah.
And this is what you're doing here. So is that the kind of stuff that you're working on even into St. Joe's of just pushing that layup farther and farther out?
Yeah, I start high school, definitely college when the level got higher, big guys got bigger and faster. So definitely learning how to shoot the floater a little deeper than I normally did, shooting a more mid range and just getting a better touch around the rim. Period. I definitely worked on that a lot at St. Joe's.
And then you have the ability to make that bank shot runner. What I like about it is you go straight up more than you go into the defender, which would have caused maybe a block.
Yeah.
How high can you make that bank shot? How high on the backboard can you hit it for it to still go in?
I wouldn't say Curry type, but
Yeah.
not. I mean, I've been using the floater most of my life. That's probably my favorite shot. So I'm very comfortable with going as high as I can off the glass.
Well, let's move on to another shot you made against the Kings in the third quarter where you get a nice spot up. And this is not that complicated as far as a shot maker, but basically there is a little bit of a drive and a kick, and you're finding space in the weak side. It looks to me like you are hopping into your shot. I'm just kind of curious, do you hop a lot in shots for your jump shot?
Um, no, sometimes I do just for balance reasons. Just get my feet set. I shoot better more when my feet or set, so I might hop into a jump shot so I can feel more comfortable.
So when you're catching that ball on a kick, and there's a closeout, are there any tricks that you discover to figure out whether you want to shoot it if it's open enough, or you feel like he's gotten too close and you just go? Is there a way for you to really figure that out, or is it just feel for you?
It's the feel, but also depends on the defender on how hard he's running out. If he's closing out with his hands high. So I feel like if he's closing out with not enough energy, I will shoot the ball. If not, if he's running out of control, I'm one of the players that can make a play with the bounce. So I'm pretty comfortable with either one. So like I said, that's just what it depends on how fast they're running at me or if they're running up with high hands or not.
How tall are you, DeAndre?
About 6'6".
All right, 6'6". So does it come into play where you have to recognize who is closing out, and if it's like a 6'9" guy who's athletic, that might also indicate whether you want to drive or not?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if it's a big guy running out really fast. I feel like definitely I can use my speed to get by him. But sometimes you might want to take the shot because they might be a little slower getting out there.
Sure. Now, do you train that live with guys who are running out at you to either shoot it if you feel like you got it, or if he's too close, drive? Is that something that you do in your practice situations?
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing I definitely practice on. Sometimes the coach might yell at you if you didn't take that shot. So that's one thing I'm definitely learning. Shoot a lot more threes rather than shooting mid-range jumpers. So that's something I'm definitely learning through the NBA. They like to shoot either corner threes or getting all the way to the rim rather than shooting mid-range jumpers.
Now, how comfortable are you from behind the line?
I'm pretty comfortable with shooting. Numbers just went down each year at St. Joe's, but I'm comfortable shooting.
Do you think that there's a reason for what happened with the shooting percentages in college?
Uh, I guess I know I can get better at shooting. That's one. But a lot of hands over the years definitely got more in my face. A lot of attention was paid more to me rather than when I was shooting. I guess about six. I mean, not 63, but like 36%, 37% my freshman year. That was just because nobody really paid me any attention. So I guess that played a factor. But like I said, I can just get better at shooting. That's one thing I know I can do.
Sure. And I think it's safe to say that this is probably the best group of players around you you've ever had, right?
Yeah, definitely. My freshman year was pretty good, but I couldn't say that we had a Dwight Howard
Right. Right.
or
So
Corver or something like that.
right. So I anticipate, yeah, guys with gravity like Corver and Howard, that will only help you get that extra split second to make those shots.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely would be fun to play with them guys.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next clip, which is against Brooklyn in the summer league. Now, you do see a lot of attack on the catch in this possession. It seems like the coaches have stressed it across the board for everybody, and that's what you mentioned before, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, here's what I liked about this is a lot of times we'll see guys in the NBA, their job is to spot up on the perimeter, and they'll spend the entire possession in one spot, waiting for the ball or not getting it. What I like about you is you seem to be probing and moving at all times. Is that something that you did in college a lot as well?
Yeah, definitely. Each year at St. Joe's, I played a different role. Freshman year, I was more of a defensive player, played off ball a lot. So I was comfortable with doing that. Sophomore year, ended up playing with the ball in my hand. So I've got to see both sides of the world, and I played pretty well with the ball in my hand and without the ball in my hand.
Okay, so I see here that you cut back door, you're wide open, they don't see you. Do you get down when that happens?
No. Especially like if I know the players. I know. I think you're talking about when Kevin had the ball, Pangos.
Yeah.
I know he's an unselfish player. So I'm not gonna be mad for that. Just I would like to have the ball if I was open, but I'm not gonna be mad at that. It ended up getting the ball to me anyway, and I made a play. But I'm not the type of person to get mad that I didn't get a shot up or something like that.
Good. So I guess the point is, the show must go on. You keep moving. Yeah. So here's an attack, pretty much on the catch. It's a face-up. A big comes out at you. So what you end up doing is a nice finish with the right hand on the right side as a reverse. And I'm curious, do you have any insight into how that evolved and whether you wanted to shoot it like on the left side of the basket or as a reverse? How does that evolve?
I guess like where the defender is at, or where he's defending me. I think the defender was a little bit more of my back, so I tried to keep him behind me rather than shooting on the same side where he could have blocked it. So definitely using the rim as a protection.
Nice. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like here. And a really nice finish. Again, these are the kind of stuff like, you're not taking these shots for the first time ever. This kind of reverse is something you probably practiced, thousands of times, right?
Yeah, I've done this play right hand. Left hand going left. I've did it a few times.
It's funny. We don't always see a lot of guys who like driving baseline these days anymore. There's so much, no middle and taking away the middle and people trying to get into the middle.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a throwback in a way. Is that is the baseline the kind of thing you like to attack?
Yeah. I mean, either baseline or even if it's making a pass to someone else. I mean, I like it on baseline. I mean, if you're sending me that way, I mean, I'm gonna take the space that you're giving me and work with it. And he was sending me baseline, so went baseline and finished.
What we see a lot of the Hawks will fill a guy on the weak side corner for a three. And so it sounds like if I were a coach in the Hawks and I saw, man, you like to drive baseline, this is going to be perfect for you to drive and then kick it to that corner, maybe jump out of bounds and throw that ball to Corver, for instance.
Yeah.
Have you seen action in the playbook already where you can get that action?
Yeah, we've been practicing attacking the rim and jumping up, acting like we're going to score and pass at baseline. We've actually done that with the summer league team, and that's one thing they said we do a lot. Attack the rim, just jump in the air, act like you're scoring, and pass it to the corner. So that's definitely one of the things we worked on.
That's awesome. That's very European, and it's great to see. And I've seen some Euro steps from you as well. And our last clip is against Houston, and it just kind of struck me because again, we talked about how guys generally just want to spot up and they stay in their one spot. Even in the Hawks offense, we see that a lot last year. But you read this play, and it looks like a pretty simple play. You get a backdoor cut and for the dunk. What made you decide to cut to the basket on this one?
I guess he was a little bit worried about the ball screen and didn't pay me as much attention as he did. But I think I had like one more step ahead of him. But Lamar made a great pass too as well. So I think it was more about the pass than the cut. So I feel like I'm gonna cut as hard as I can every time. Mm-hmm. So it was just a great pass, and I just finished the play off for him.
Now you look like are you a 2-foot jumper? Preferably, it looks that way to me. But what do you think?
Nah, I'm anything. People say left foot, right foot. I'm comfortable with any foot. And at the time, I was on 2 feet, so
mm-hmm.
Now, more power in my legs to jump off to.
Oh yeah, I agree. In fact, I'm kind of a big advocate of 2 foot for everything, just because of that power, balance, explosion. When you're working on your game and for these finishes, are you having guys hit you on the way up and when you're in the air to practice the contact?
Yeah, definitely. St. Joe's definitely did a lot of pushing and shoving with finishes. Had a lot of big, strong guys I've played with in college, so I've got used to the physicality. But I think one thing that helped me with my physicality in high school and middle school growing up, I really played like the 5-4 on my AU team, and I was really battling like some of the bigs.
By the way, playing point guard is not foreign to you, or you wouldn't have any problem jumping into that role.
Not at all. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, let me ask you this because it's funny. When we talk about guys like Steph, like how is your off the bounce shooting? Is that something that you excel with?
Mid range. Like I said, I can get better at shooting threes, but I'm very comfortable at shooting dribbling mid range, shooting a mid range jumper. Very comfortable with that. But I definitely can get better at coming off a ball screen and somebody's going under to make the three.
Okay.
But that's why I have room to grow.
So what would be the one thing that you are? Does it sound like the 3-point shot is the one thing that you're working on the most this summer?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if I get that down, I'm pretty hard to guard. So I can score on the bounce, catch and shoot. But I feel like I can definitely get better at making threes, a lot more threes at least.
Absolutely. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you is, you played for 3 years in college, and we do see, unfortunately, players who play multiple years in college seem to get penalized for that. And I'm kind of curious, do you feel that it was beneficial to you as a player and as a person to stay in college for 3 years before coming out to the NBA?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely helped me as a person, helped me as a basketball player. The experience, it definitely helps. Playing 3 years of college, just being coached for 3 years, three more years by the great coaches that I work with. They definitely helped me a lot on the court, off the court. So it was just a great experience. Some people need it, but like you said, some want it done.
Right. Well, now knowing what you know now, like, were you even ready after your freshman year to jump to the NBA?
I feel like I could have played in the NBA, but I wasn't as good as I am now. Mm-hmm. But I definitely felt like I could have played in the NBA. But those were thoughts that were going in my head. I actually heard some NBA talk like he can play on the NBA team now, my freshman year. But I'm just thinking like I'm not leaving this year.
Okay.
Leaving this year, so it was nice to hear. But that definitely pushed me to get better.
If we could jump forward in time to the end of this season, you just finished your rookie year. What do you have any goals in mind for what you want to get out of this season coming up?
Well, I always set my standards very high, even if I don't get them. So I would definitely say rookie of the year. That's one thing I always pride myself in. I feel like I should have been a top 5 pick. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. But like you said, age counts. One and done's counts. So I'm just looking forward, just being out there and just playing my game, and I let my game speak for itself most of the time.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. Hope to check with you later in the season and see how you're doing. And again, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
You got it. And don't forget, sports fans, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, DeAndre?
Of course I'm in. I'm all in.